Hello, good evening. How are we? So, hope you had a gorgeous day. I've spent at least 5 minutes of my day today hanging upside down. So, if you do follow me, I have bought myself a yoga trapeze, and basically, oh God, hold on. Oh. So, if you do follow me, that's annoying. There we go. Sorry about that. So I can't see the comments on here, so I've got one here. Okay, so I bought myself a yoga trapeze, and it's amazing. Basically, bought it for my low back pain, and yeah, that's what I've been doing today. So I've been on the yoga trapeze and thinking about tonight's live. So the reason it's called No Diggity will be revealed at the end of the live. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was, and by the way, I'm Charlotte Pridmore. Obviously, if you're watching this, you'll know that. But welcome to my Facebook Live world. If you know me, say hi. If you don't know me, say hi, and I'll say hello to you. So basically, tonight I was watching there was a program on about people who had put on lots of weight in COVID. And they were being challenged to, hey Debbie, they were being challenged to, hey Candice, how are you? To lose a stone in 21 days. So I always love stuff like that, because I'm just like, are they up for the challenge? Like, what are they going to do? So I was watching this thing, and one of the girls, they were all wicked, like really lovely humans, just all really determined, all got reasons to do it. Hi, Kerry. And basically, one of the women said, one of my most hated sayings, she said, I haven't really set much expectation for this, because if I don't set a high standard for myself, then I won't be disappointed. And I sat there and I was just like, oh, babes, like, why? I want to dissect that statement, because I know that a lot of people say it, and it really, really upsets me. Because what I don't understand about that sentence is, what's wrong with disappointment? Like, how many times have we experienced disappointment in our lives? And disappointment has a direct correlation to expectations, right? And so I get it. Like, people say, well, if I don't, if I don't set my expectation too high for this, then I won't feel disappointment. But those two things are totally, hi Tracy, hi Mick. Those two things are totally, hi Jane. They're both linked and not linked, because if I have a high expectation for something, or if you have a high expectation for something, what energy does high expectation bring? It brings excitement. It brings just a high vibeness. It brings your A game. Like, if I have a high expectation of the way I show up, or if I've got live, or if I've got a training to do, or if I've got a coaching session, like, I go into my coaching sessions with high expectation that it's going to go brilliantly, that I'm going to be able to support the person, that I'm going to be able to hear what they're saying between the lines, that I'm going to be able to give them some insight that they may have not seen. So I have a high expectation. Hey Amber, how are you? Hey Tracy, thank you, got my lippy on. So creating a high expectation for anything, it brings you up. Like, it brings your A game. Like, you expect more. You expect the energy you bring to the situation, and therefore the knock-on effect of that means that most of the time you'll get the expectation, the result that you want. So set a low expectation, and what kind of energy do we come into something with? If we have a low expectation of our relationship, if we have a low expectation of our ability to get fit and lose weight, if we have a low expectation of the job role, if we have a low expectation of whether or not we're going to get the job or not, then guess what? Like, we're not going to achieve it. And what upsets me the most about it is that if we are a grown-ass woman or a grown-ass man, I've got lipstick all over my fingers, that's hilarious. Before I came on, I put my lippy on and I ended up wiping it up my face, which was not a strong look before. And then I've just wiped it with my hands and it's all over my hands. Lovely. Hey, Sam. Hey, Ruth. So when we have a low expectation, we just bring this energy to something. And therefore, everything responds accordingly. And then disappointment, like, how many times have you been disappointed? Are you okay? Like, I've been disappointed loads of times. I got over it. Like, I got through it. We have to stop being so frightened of pain and disappointment and things not working out the way they have. And the way that I love to get through that. Hey, Ruth. Hey, Robin. The way I love to get through that is just that and I would encourage you to develop your trust muscle. Like, develop, and it's hard sometimes. Like, I find it hard sometimes, when there's a lot of uncertainty, especially at the moment, and there's lots of things that we don't know how it's going to turn out. But if we have a higher expectation for it, energetically, we're just going to bring a better feeling and a better vibe to the situation. So the thing I like to talk about a lot is developing our trust muscle. Like, I just trust that the course of events that are going to happen will either be for me in the sense that they will work out how I want them to, or it won't work out how I want it to, and I'll learn something from it. Because actually what I believe is that when people say, I don't want to be disappointed, what they're saying is, I don't want to feel like I've failed. And yet failure is just part of life. Like, failure is part of being an adult. Like, we just have to flex our ability, our resilience. And what astounds me about it is that we can have resilience in one area. Like, you can be tolerating a really crappy relationship. You can be just in a situation with somebody that you tolerate because you feel like you have to, etc., etc. Yet you won't tolerate in another area. So I think what we have to look at is, like, on the broad spectrum of our life, like, what's our standard? Like, what do we expect? And one of the things that I've noticed and I've learned recently is this concept of, when we are setting goals or trying to achieve something, weight's a really good example. Loads of people have put weight on over COVID, like, loads of people, like, this is the new January, everyone's back in the gym, and everyone's talking about, I want to lose X amount by this period. And in my world, we talk about that as a masculine energy goal. Like, it's a very sort of doing, this is when it happens, this is what's going to happen by then. But what happens is when we do that, is that if we say you want to lose 10 pounds by your birthday, and by your birthday you've lost 7, you've said you've failed. Oh yeah, I didn't lose as much as I wanted to. And we automatically go to focus on the negative and what we didn't do rather than what we did. Whereas if your standard for your life is, I am fully committed to my continual health and wellness. Like this yoga trapeze thing, like, I have lower back pain, like, I've got locked up hips, like, I'm very, I'm flexible in some ways, but not in others. And I bought this bloody swing that I mean, I was like a hippo in a tutu today. Like, me getting in and out of this thing today was, downright embarrassing. However, I'm not going to say to myself, I've learned not to say to myself, right, I'm going to be really brilliant at this straight away, and I'm going to really, by the time it gets to Christmas, I'm going to be able to do the splits, like, or I'm going to be able to do a back bend again. Or I'm not doing that, because I've just identified it as a tool that is part of my continual commitment to my health, my wellness, my flexibility, my mobility, etc., etc. So when you set this context for your life, and this, and my coach calls it a context, which I think is brilliant. So when you set this context for your year or your month or your day or your life, then it just becomes part of your identity. So if I'm committed to the evolution of my health and wellness, then there's no pressure. There's no, there's no deadline, there's no disappointment, there's no beating myself up if I don't quite achieve it, because it just doesn't make sense to do that. Hey, Alison! Amber, future failure is first attempt in learning. Absolutely. Also, tell ego to fuck off and do you. Love it. So the whole, I just wanted to talk about it, because if you are one of those kind of people who, naturally can feel like, oh, well, if it feels safe, doesn't it? It feels safe to go, well, if I don't get too excited about it, I won't be upset if it doesn't happen. But in our resilience as we build our resilience as an adult, then we've got to say, do you know what? Wouldn't it be better if I say, I expect this to go bloody brilliantly, and if it doesn't, I'll deal with it. Like, to me, that just makes more sense. Like, I'd rather live in the wouldn't it be better to live in the realm of possibility than the realm of probability? Like, when Mark was looking for a job and he upgraded his LinkedIn to, he paid for the LinkedIn while he was looking for a job. What he did, one of the functions when you upgrade LinkedIn is it tells you how many people are looking for the job, like are going for the job that you've applied for. So some of the jobs he was going for had like 500, 600 people applying for it. And I was like, why would that be important to know? Like, why would that be relevant? Because all that does for a lot of people is say, oh, well, I'll not get my hopes up about that one then, because I probably won't get it. Like, someone has to get it. It might as well be you. So I think if you do lean towards that and you hear yourself saying, oh, well, I won't get too excited about it in case I get disappointed, I just want you to rephrase it to, do you know what? I'm going to go for it and I'm going to expect to get it. And if I don't get it, it's fine. I'll deal with it, because nothing's going to kill you. Everything is okay. And no matter what happens, you'll be okay. And usually if it's not this, it's something better. So if we're constantly, hey Jane, hey Elena, if we're constantly committed to, so I wrote something down yesterday. Where's it gone? So I was in a program at the moment as a student, and it was about owning like what I do, and I said, and I sort of wrote down, it's like a mini, not a mission statement, it's a bit weird, but it was just a phrase that I wrote, and I just said, I'm a coach. My commitment to myself is constant evolution, constant growth in all areas of my life, my health, my relationships, my parenting, my career, my finances, constant growth in all those areas. And I'm also committed to teaching what I learn to women who want to listen. And I sat back and I thought, if we all were committed to, if we said to ourselves, do you know what? No matter what, I'm going to be okay. And if it's not this, it's something better. But whatever I'm going for, I'm going to give it everything. I'm going to go and walk despite feeling fearful or feeling scared or worried that I'll fail or worried that I'll look stupid, or if we did that, we would feel a level of fulfillment that we just, a lot of people don't get to experience. My philosophy is saying, wouldn't it be fun if, exactly. Well, that was my next note. So the easiest way to do this is the what if. Genuinely, Amber, that was my next note. So the easiest way to do that is if you catch yourself going, but what if it doesn't work? What if she says this? What if he says that? What if it, what if I look stupid? What if I fall flat on my face? It's just changing it to something else. It's changing it to the complete opposite. And just trusting, like, I can't say that word enough. Like, there is, the reason this video is called No Diggity is, I'm going to tell you at the end, but some things in life, and whether you believe in the universe or God or source or whatever you want to call it, there are things in this life that cannot be explained. There are things in this life that, if we are aligned with who we are, what we want to do, and we move in the direction of it, miracles happen. Like, I've seen them, I've experienced them. I've got plenty of people in my life that, I could tell you a million stories, maybe not a million, you know what I mean? And the trust in that, you don't have to be, you know, a spiritual person to believe in that, but I believe in something that you are, that there is better available to you. There is more, there is the right path for you, and that your path will be completely different to other people's. But just having this feeling, hey, Julie, hey, Katrina, is this resilience and faith. Like, they're the two words of the life, resilience and faith. Like, I'm going to walk with faith. I have it tattooed on my arm. I'm going to walk with faith despite my fears, despite feeling uncomfortable, despite feeling out my comfort zone. And I'm going to trust that even if this doesn't work out, then the experience of that not working out will add to my resilience. So it's almost like we become resilience collectors. Like, I'm going to collect the lessons and the resilience I need from this. Every time I go through something, I get stronger and more able to deal with it the next time. Because when you're a kid, you don't, you know, start walking and then fall over and then go, oh, probably not going to do that again. Hey, Suzanne. No doubt. I'm probably not going to do that again. You would just get up and carry on. Like, children are so resilient. They hurt themselves, they're up, they cry, they get on with it. They go back to playing. You know, if they're trying to do something and they can't do it, they might have a paddy, but they'll go back and do it, and they'll have forgotten that they had a paddy 5 minutes ago. So what is it like that we get scared of as we get older? And I think it's fear of failure and fear of judgment. I think those are the two things that most adults fear the most. Although we can cloud it or plaster it up as, I don't want to be disappointed. But underneath it all, I think, especially in my case, it was really fear of failure. So play the what if game. Ask yourself, so if you're going for something, and especially now, like, loads of people are going for new jobs, loads of people are trying new things to bring in extra income into their lives. Like, there's so many people in new situations that are pushing out of the comfort zone that's not their normal. And so if you're feeling like really uncomfortable with that, and it's starting to affect your ability to trust, then I want you to just have a minute to yourself and just be like, right, the end of the, you know, as long as I keep walking and trust that I end up where I'm meant to end up, if I don't get this job, that's okay. If I don't achieve this, it's okay, because I'll just keep going. Because when we attach, like with the weight thing, if we attach a date to it, you know, the goal could be achieved 3 days later, and then we don't end up having this fear of failure around it. Does that make sense? So we have to have a vision of what we want. So for the rest of this year, so one of the things that I've done is for the rest of this year, I've set a context. I've set a vision for what I want it to be. And those visions are very fluid. They are very movable. So it's consistent growth with my health and my fitness and my flexibility, consistent growth in my business. So there's nothing to tie me down to too much pressure. So if you're feeling the pressure around something, then I encourage you to just take the date off and just think, right, if I was to commit to this as a general standard for my life, then you'll feel the energy of that shift. So the no diggity thing, I was set a challenge. So I've read this book, and it was like a financial management book. And he had this 6-jar system. And if you're in my group, then you know what I'm talking about. And there was these 6 jars, and I've got them on my shelf. And one of them is your life jar, so all your stuff that you know that you have to spend on life. Memories jar, which is your play jar, so that's 10% of your income. You have to blow that every month. There's the freedom jar, which is your long-term savings. There's your growth jar, so things like courses and education and that kind of thing, and books. Dreams, which is your bigger things like holidays and experiences. And then your giving jar, which is your, you know, what you want to give away. So there's, thanks, Jenny. So there's all these jars, and the way they were doing it when I was learning this from my coach, she was, you know, we have a song that just makes you feel good while you're doing it. So you split the money between the jars, and you can do it with 100 quid or 20 quid or whatever. It doesn't matter about the amount. The thing is the ritual of doing it. Anyway, so I'd not done it because I would procrastinated around what song to use. And I was going to have Ariana Grande 7 Rings, but I thought, no, because there's a bit of a weird feeling behind that song. So I thought, no, it won't be that.
Anyway, so I was like, right, what's my song going to be? Again, a week went by, nothing went on. And I don't know if you've ever seen the app FY. It's like a home furnishings app, amazing stuff. So I was looking for a throw for my chair. And they have loads of prints. And in my wish list, there's loads of prints because I want to fill the wall with prints in the kitchen. So there's quotes, there's wicked pictures, there's a picture of some boobs, which I think is really funny. But one of them said, hi, Steph. One of them said, no diggity. Oh no, I like the way you work it, no diggity. And I was like, I love that because I love that song. So I put it in my wish list. And then a couple of days passed and I came downstairs the other morning. I was like, I'm not going to say her name because she'll come on in my office. So let's say it's Stephanie, but you know who I mean, the one beginning with A, the Android thing in your room. I said, no, can you play Radio 1? And then, but before I got to the end of the sentence, I went, actually, no. And then she went, I've got a station you might like. It's 90s R&B. So this 90s R&B channel starts playing. Guess what the second song was? No Diggity No Doubt. So I'm laughing my head off, thinking, oh my God, like that's obviously the song. Because as I listened to the lyrics, it was like stacking up the cash. So I'm laughing my head off. And it says, baby, you're a perfect 10. And I looked at my watch and it was 10:10. And if you believe in angel numbers or if you like numbers, then you'll love that. And then the rap says, flying first class to New York City to Blackstreet, right? And New York is on my goal board. I've meant to have gone 4 times. It's never worked out. First class travel is on my vision board. So I was like, this is the song. Like, this is it. So I played it again and I was dancing around the kitchen, laughing my head off at this whole situation. And then I was telling this to my private group, the Ever Evolving Woman. I'm telling this story. And one of the girls in my group, she was like, I shit you not. I've just come out of my studio, got in the car. Guess what the first song was? No Diggity No Doubt. You can't make that up, right? The synchronicities of that, you cannot make up. I mean, it's from 1996. Like, when was the last time you heard that song on the radio? And within moments, we'd all heard it. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you that is because there is an element of trust that if you ask, it is given. If you are open-minded and your senses are open, you will get clues and guidance and direction from whatever you decide to call it. And the whole point of that song that stuck out for me was, it's no doubt. Just lean into having no doubt that the path you're on is where you're supposed to be, whether that be painful or not. Because if it's painful, you're meant to have that experience in order to learn from it, to grow from it. And if you're going in the right direction and it feels good, then trust that that's the right thing. So the reason that song's so important now is because A, I asked and it was given. B, the lyrics are no diggity, no doubt, as in no doubt, just no doubt, trust, have faith in your path and what you're doing. And don't worry about disappointment because you're going to handle it. You're a big girl, you're a big boy, you can handle it. But you're far more likely to achieve the weight loss goal, getting the job, the financial goal, the trip, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, you are far more likely to achieve it if you're throwing yourself fully in. If you're saying that I expect this to work out because the universe has weird ways of making things happen. So that's it for this evening. Thank you for listening. Happy Friday. I hope that you have a good weekend. The link Becoming Here is still open if you want to inbox me for the join link. It's £22 a month. It is cancel anytime. And we have awesome masterclasses in there. In fact, the new one drops tonight. So for those of you in there, you have a new masterclass coming to you tomorrow. So that's it. I'm done. By the way, look at that. Is that not the prettiest thing you've ever seen? So I am turning into crystal tits. Those who know me will laugh at that. Isn't that amazing? When I've got some lovely crystal, I will post the link for where I get them under my live. Anyway, lovely to see you. If you want to join my free group, then you can click the link at the side of my page. It was lovely to spend some time with you this evening. Bye, everybody. Let me just check. Oh, loving the lips. Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you. Amber, it was a joy. Be lovely to catch up soon. Lovely. Right, that's it. Mwah. Night. Bye.